Hi, this is Paul from ACO Classics Computer and Consoles, and today I'm going to demonstrate a little bit about the AmigaONE X5000. I've had a lot of people ask about it. There hasn't been any really full in-depth reviews, just general how it works. I did make one earlier and kind of showed it off, and it was pretty raw. This one is going to be a little bit more in detail, and I'm going to spend a little bit more time going over the machine, show you some of the insides of it, software, things of that nature, stuff that people actually want to see. The goal of this video is to actually show people just how good it is in comparison with the classic machine and how much of the classic software will actually work with it as well. So let's go ahead, let's get started. The AmigaONE X5000. This is the standard configuration of my X5000. As you can see, I've got my tower on the left. It's a standard HDMI monitor connected through DVI. I've got a normal Windows keyboard and a normal Windows mouse. You can see coming up to it, nothing fancy. This is just a MSI keyboard and a cheap MSI mouse. It came with an older system of mine. This is the tower. This is how it comes standard. The tower it's a pretty nice tower. It's spacious, has everything you need, doesn't take up a whole lot of room. Pretty typical mid-sized tower case. Here's a nice view of the inside of the X5000. As you can see, the motherboard's a nice red motherboard. I've got the enhanced cooler on there. It's a Noctua fan. Coming a little closer, I've got a standard EVGA 550 watt power supply. The cards that I'm using inside are pretty standard. I have a Radeon R7 250X, which is my video card. This allows 3D graphics in OS4. I'm currently using the onboard drivers, however, though, for the onboard Ethernet, which is also gigabit. And my sound card is just a standard Sound Blaster Live PCIe sound card. It's got the model is a 0220, which is important. The 200s, which you can find on eBay, don't work. Those came in Dell machines, I think, in the past. You have to make sure it's a 0220. They also come with cards now that seem to work pretty well. Zooming in a little bit closer, you can see very standard looking motherboard, well made. And I also have a Samsung solid state drive and a standard SATA IDE drive up top. Alright, here we have just the generic startup screen when the X5000 first comes on. It's very Amiga-like, as you can see. So, of course, you could change the backdrop and do all that stuff if you wanted to. This is the system drive. So, very familiar, again, for classic users. You have devs, documentation, emulation, internet, MUI, prefs, storage, system, utilities. Some of the things we can go into is prefs. So, in prefs here, you can see we have your typical stuff. So Amiga input shows you all your USB devices, PCI, generic. So example, when you click on PCI, it shows a little bit in here. You have drivers for joysticks, game ports, things like that. So this is what would be on my video card, audio card. Also, when you plug in your joystick into USB, it shows up in there. So, as an example of that, I'll go ahead and reach over, grab my Competition Pro here. This is the USB version. So if you notice when you plug it in, it'll pop up. Very similar to Poseidon. And now when I go into Amiga input, you'll notice I have a USB tab on here. You can click on it, and there's my joystick. So you can go in here and test and calibrate just like anything else. You see that the buttons are set up. And then you would save it. So getting into a little bit more of the system, this is I have the Enhancer 2.0 in here. I am a beta tester on that. But most of what you see here comes with, you know, the system too. You can get the Enhancer pack, original version. So you can move your clock wherever you want, obviously. The calendar is also movable. These are skinnable, so if you wanted to, say for example, change the clock to a different style, you could click on it, go into settings, and if you wanted to, you can do original hands, NIL-ing, make it, you know, so you can see through it more or not. Change your hands, change the skin if you wanted to. So you want to change the skin, there's lots of different versions of skins that you can do. I mean, the clock is, everything in it is very configurable. Just for the heck of it, we'll go ahead and pick the square electro one. Say OK, and there you go. Clock changed completely different now. Revert back to the default. There it is again. Pretty simple. The nice thing I like about this 4.1 is a lot of us classic users are constantly installing our systems, trying to get them to be crazy and make them look as nice as possible and as modern as possible. Some people like the original style, but other people will do that. The amazing thing about OS 4.1 is right out of the box, it has a lot of the stuff that you would want to do. For example, like retargetable graphics and things of that nature. Nice icons, you know, high-res screens, all that sort of things. So it's already done for you. You basically install it. It's got AmiDoc on here, just done. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the things. Right now I've got Odyssey, pretty common file internet browser. This is the latest version that you can get for OS 4. So going into it, you see it's pretty nice, and of course everybody wants to see what Amiga World looks like, so we'll go ahead and take a look at that. So here you can see Amiga World is up. Fairly quick for an Amiga browser. I mean, again, it is an Amiga browser, but Odyssey is pretty compatible. It works. It'll get your day-to-day average browsing done. So just going through some of the forums. A lot of people want to see YouTube, so let's go ahead and take a look at YouTube. And it does work on here. So see if we can find one of my videos on here. The last one that I did was this Scan Plus AGA. And there it is. So here's my review of the Scan Plus. You notice it plays pretty well. Actual classic computer consoles. And today I want to do the mail. Good audio. Not too bad as far as speed goes. Another nice thing about this is, I mean, you can do this on a classic as well. What I like to do is getting software back and forth to classic Amigas, as anyone knows, once a fresh install is done, is an absolute nightmare. What I like to do is I set up an FTP. So I use AmFTP most of the time. So what I've got here is I have my Synology NAS. So, and I use FTP just because it's easier that way. I don't have to worry about configuring. You can do Samba if you want, but for me this is simple. All I'm trying to do is get files back and forth. So I connect it. See, it's fairly quick. Here's my Amiga folder on my NAS. So you can see I've got software in here, all my backups, everything that I could pretty much ever need, all in one place. It's quick, it works very well, and you can go in and do anything that you pretty much want to do. So that's FTP, works well. And of course, people want to see games. So let's go ahead and go into games. So I keep all my games in let's programs here. So we've got my games folder. And the nice thing about Classic support on here is you really don't see UAE running or anything like that. So what you can do is you can either run WHD load games just as they are on a Classic. So, for example, there's all my games with T. So let's go ahead and load up Turricane, and I'll show you how well Turricane works on here. So we've got Turricane. You can click. Nice disk sounds. Instantly loads up into a Classic real fast, and then what you'll notice is you'll go in, WHD load comes up just as it does on a regular Amiga. What you're seeing on the bottom is because of the way I have it set up on there. It doesn't do that for all games. So you hit the fire button. So you notice the sound is really good. The speed is quite fast. In fact, some things are too fast. So as you can see, it's very playable. Just as good as on a Classic machine for me. In fact, this pretty much has replaced my Classic machine. I've got a 4000T sitting right over here next to me, and I really don't use it for anything anymore. So when you want to quit and get out of it, it's simple. Takes you right back to the desktop. So running UE is what you were seeing there to get it to do that, which is pretty simple. So another game that I like to show off that people want to see is Superfrog. So let's go ahead and try out Superfrog. So here's Superfrog. I have this one set to run full screen without anything in the way, so it'll look much nicer when the game starts. And you can individually set your games however you want. Running UE has a universal setup, or it also has a per game setup, so you can be pretty custom as far as it goes. Also, the nice thing with it is if you're running ADF games, which I'll show you shortly, is if you name them, for example, Superfrog 1, and then the next one Superfrog 2, it'll automatically switch to the second disk. You don't ever have to load them in. It's smart enough to know the files to do that. So again, you can see it's pretty amazing speed. Works exceptionally well. Is that it's in my experience here, it's about a 100 megahertz 060 speed. It's very fast. No slowdown at all. You don't have to worry about it. It'll pretty much run anything that you could ever want to run with it here. And we're done. So we'll go ahead and quit from that. So those are WHD load games. Again, they run just as well as they do on a Classic. In fact, in my opinion, they run better. So now we'll take a look at an ADF game. Again, this is all Classic stuff. So ADF games, we'll do the same thing. We'll go ahead and run Turricane 2 this time and see how. Oh. So if you notice the way that these are named, 2 of 2, 2 of 1. So when you click on it, it'll automatically switch to the second disk when needed. So again, just double click. It's automatically going to load up. Put the trainer on. I'm just going to start it without any. If you don't like all of this crap, you can turn it off just like you can on any version of EUE 8E. I much prefer running WHD load games. This is just a quick show off of the fact that you can run ADS if you wanted to. And it is running a little bit slower because it defaults to A500, but you could make it a 1200. It still runs quite well. And I still suck at this game, obviously. And again, you quit the same way, right back to the desktop. So that's classic. So you can also run anything that will run with clean, like without custom chip support, for example. So an example that I would do with that is I've got directory Opus in here. Runs just fine. There is a native version of this as well. This is the 68K version, and you see it goes through just as if it was on a normal Amiga. It's got the look that you're used to. We can go back and AmFTP, by the way, was also a 68K. There's also PFTP, so Pete's FTP, which is an OS4 based one, which is kind of nice. You can see they work very well. This is a great demo as well, too. Let's check out another demo. I can sit here for hours and watch demos, so.
Are you ready? Wait, hold on.
Nice, fluid. And again, the emulation is very seamless, so you hardly even really know that you're running emulation once everything is set up. Very cool stuff. Again, you notice the sound is very crisp, speed is great, every bit as good as running it on an actual classic Amiga system that is as souped up as possible. Again, a complete system of these averages right around, you know, $1,500 to $1,700. Think about what it takes in a classic system to get to this level. And right back to the desktop again. Okay, so a lot of people wonder, okay, so that's all great, you got classic stuff. What about modern, everyday, new stuff? So, of course it does that as well. So, you can go in here, I'll show some more games. So, Amiga Racer is a pretty fun one that a lot of people like.
Amiga Tech, because
Shut my monitor off by accident.
Amiga Racer. Get set, go!
Very good outrun style port. And I saw it.
Amiga Tech, because some dreams never.
And yesterday a pretty cool game came out called Kraft. So this is a real nice 3D game, similar to Wipeout. Very well done. Again, I am absolutely terrible at this game as well. But like I said, it just shows you some of the power of the system. You can do some pretty amazing stuff. I'm not very good at it, so we're gonna go ahead and just get out of here. Mini Slug is a fun little game. Yeah, I suck at it. But it's pretty cool Metal Slug clone. We'll stop that one too. And as you can see, it's a very good system. It's an Amiga in every sense of the word, in my opinion. Personal Paint, another favorite. Done very well. I can't draw, so you won't really see much on here, but again, it's very fluid. If you could draw, you'd be able to do things better than me, obviously. Another really nice thing is for updating. It's got built-in updaters in it. So I'm connected to the internet. You go into the system and you notice you've got Ami Update and Updater. So if you click on Updater, it'll launch the update program. Check for updates. I don't think there are any right now. So this is from Amiga Kit. A-EON is all the packages that it does and all of the third-party driver supports in there. So it'll tell you if it's updated, what version you're on. And the nice thing too is it'll also tell you things that you've purchased. It'll tell you what version that you're on. And if you look, there is a new version of the enhancer, so I can install the next beta. And different packages as well. A pretty nice updater. And you also have the system updater, which is the official one. So it launches Ami Store. You can scan on here. Again, ME5 so you get a chance to see what an update looks like. So I'll go ahead and update. So it downloads the update, installs it, tells you need to reboot. And we're back again. So that is the X5000 and AmigaOS 4.1, and I really enjoy it. I hope you enjoyed watching the video that I put on about the X5000. It's a great machine. It's well worth your money. If you're into classic Amigas, it has almost everything that you would want, and a bunch of new stuff as well. So take a look at it. If you have any questions, feel free to go ahead and send me a comment. I'll try and reply back, or you can visit my website and get some comments on there as well. Thanks again for watching. Please subscribe, and hopefully some more videos like this will be on their way soon.